what's up? Hello. Hello, we're live. It's the Bazaar. Hello. How are everybody? How are you? How am I? I'm good. I wasn't originally going to go live today. And then I was like, hey, wait a minute. Mega, you've been talking about how that was like part of the whole point of doing the thumbnail stuff and everything is like going live more often. It is a habit, and I want to get a little bit better at it. Also, go live. I just announced the new schedule for Critical Eyes, Age of Umbra. Maybe answer some questions about that while we play. And I think that the Bazaar, honestly, I don't even know if a lot of my audience is... Oh, God. It's so loud. I don't even know if a lot of the audience, if a lot of you guys are going to be interested at all in the Bazaar. It's just that I play it, and it is a good game and a good length for like a short stream. The Bazaar's here. I like this game. It's a good game. It's got some weirdness, but it's I think my favorite auto battler I've ever played, and I've played quite a few. I used to be very, very into auto chess. I was very into auto chess. I was very into super auto pets, and the way that the Bazaar uses space is my favorite, and the enchant system. I think the enchant system is probably my favorite part of the Bazaar, and like the thing that I think makes it the most enjoyable. Not always the most balanced, but I think in this case, the enchanting is a case of the most balanced thing is not always the most fun thing. And enchants are so much fun. They are so addicting in terms of like what you can do with them. What's up, Ivo, G Hercup, Sarah? Hello. But yeah. Like I said, also, the Bazaar, not the Bazaar, Age of Umbra. What kind of game is this? It's an auto battler. It's like Super Auto Pets or Auto Chess. Those are the two that I would easily compare it to. If you don't know either of those, it's kind of like if you were to play Magic the Gathering, but a little AI or a little computer, like a chess computer, is like making all of your Magic the Gathering moves for you, and you just decide what cards are on the table. And then it makes all of the moves, and your opponent also has a robot that is making all of the moves for you. Enchant can go from Shiny Cannonball to freaking Turbo Silencer. Oh yeah, I mean, the enchant just means that like the number of distinct builds you can get is so varied in just the most delightful way. And the fact that they give you the option to enchant. Also, I just got Dooley. Just unlocked him. I'm still learning him, but I really like him. Just got Dooley. But yeah, the enchants just mean that like the number of distinct build options you have is so much wider than any other game that I've played like this, and the fact that you can get an enchanted item right at the start. So it's like, oh, here's like a thing you can kind of like focus and build around, which is super nice. Am I remembering correctly that you were looking at designing a game like this, the Hive thing? Yes, I love auto battlers. And I still think about Hive Wars. I realized that I was spending too much time coding. Coding like big projects that were not really contributing towards anything but themselves. So I'm focusing more on building up other skills. And when I am coding things that go towards that are like cohesive. I would still love to revisit Hive Wars someday, but not at the moment. Not at the moment. Oh wait, someone commented on the Age of Umbra thing. You, Mega, will watch Umbra on your own, then you'll have a stream where you talk about Umbra. Is it just a conversation, not a rewatch? Yeah, just a conversation. Just a conversation. There will be no recorded footage, whether live or pre-recorded. There will be no recorded footage of me watching Age of Umbra. It will purely be everyone, me, audience, everyone, watches Age of Umbra on our own. I'm gonna try to watch it live on Thursdays. Maybe I'll like live tweet it. I don't have a Twitter, but maybe I'll live Discord it. Probably not. I don't like doing that, but but maybe. And then yeah, I'll go live on Wednesday, and we'll have just like a conversation about it. We'll just chat about it. Which is why I call it a book club. You know, it's like for a book club, everyone reads the book beforehand, and then you get together at book club with wine and cheese and talk about the book. And so that's the sort of thing we'll do with Age of Umbra. Episode discussion. Yeah, sure. Episode discussion. You could definitely call it that. And then you'll have the 2 episodes for Critical Eyes, but on Friday, Monday. Yes. Yep. And Friday, Monday, so that the Critical Role episode itself is not split up by a different stream. It'll be, the episode itself will only have like 2 days in between. And currently it has 3 days in between. So there'll actually be less, with the new schedule, there will be less time between the halves of Critical Role. But it'll be on probably less convenient days. But that's just how it went, you know. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I love a good episode discussion stream. Hell yeah. I think it's going to be good. I was considering a lot of other formats, but this one was doing an episode discussion was the most, it was a combination of the most straightforward and the most like the safest. Like in terms of what other people would be into, in terms of what Critical Role would probably like, you know, because I want to make sure I'm not in the, I never want to be like controversial. I'm not trying to like push the fucking line. I don't want people to have to like defend me or be like, you know, I already think about that a lot with Critical Eyes. Be like, yeah, he watches the whole thing, but he's very transformative and he adds a lot, whatever. Like, I think about that with Critical Eyes already. And so I wanted to, you know, be very, very safe. Yeah. You should make an agenda or have like polls planned. We'll see how it goes. I have some thoughts, but I'm not heavily committing to any of them yet. We'll be chatting about Umbra and stuff. Just chatting. Yeah. I'm not going to call it a book club. Both the book and TV fans in my heart object. That's fair. Yeah. Is the book club before or after the AOU recording is made public? Like if I miss AOU live, will I be able to watch your book club? Yes. That is why it's on Wednesday. So basically, Age of Umbra airs live on Thursday. So like Session 0 has already aired. It aired yesterday on Thursdays, and then the VOD for it, I think it comes out immediately if you like, you know, have their Beacon subscription thing. But if you don't have that, then the Age of Umbra VOD comes out on Monday. So you'll have Monday, Tuesday, and then before I go live on Wednesday to watch it. So like probably like 2 days ish to watch it, which is good because I'm gonna have to watch it. I will definitely be watching it live, but I can be almost 100% certain that I will want to rewatch at least some parts of it. So I put it on. I didn't want to put it on Thursday as well because I didn't want to overlap the days. So I put it basically as close to the next episode's air date as possible to give everyone maximum time without actually hitting the air date. It's in a new setting, right? I believe so. I believe Age of Umbra is they're calling it the campaign frame, which I believe a frame is like not necessarily a setting, but like a subset of a setting. It's like, I think like they would consider like Taldore to be a frame, where Exandria is like the setting, or like Wildmount is a frame. But I think a frame also implies some like tonal stuff. I'm not exactly sure. Honestly, I'll be interested to see. All right, I'm debating. I'm not going to do Shiny Plasma Grenade, by the way. I'm not. It's nothing for me. No, thank you. I love Obsidian Wallace, especially because Obsidian Wallace scales himself, which is pretty crazy to give him damage as well. Because normal Wallace is just shield, and he gains shield. Obsidian Wallace will also gain damage. That's pretty nutty. I love... Heal is more valuable than shield. Fucking, prove I'm wrong. And it's heal equal to 10 times the burn. That's a lot of heal. But the restorative bomb squad is so much slower. And he doesn't scale himself. So I would need to get, like, another item to scale him if I'm going to. Whereas Obsidian Wallace just does it all. I think we're going with Obsidian Wallace. I like Wallace. He's a nice boy. Look at him. Look at him. How could I not? How could I not? I get the impression it's not Exandria though. Oh, I would also. I also think that. I think you are correct that it is not in Exandria. Could be wrong. But I don't believe so. Which is good. I mean, I would really, I've already said it. I would really, really, really prefer. I really want to watch the things that Critical Role puts out from here. Like, now that they are done with Campaign 3, my understanding is that they're done with Campaign 3. I would really, really like to be current. It would be good for, the channel as a business, frankly. And so I would really like that. And I believe, at least for Age of Umbra, that is the case. I don't know, we'll see when it comes to future projects, future campaigns, but at least for Age of Umbra, I believe that is the case. Yeah. I've never seen this game before. Is it a card dueling game? It is it's kind of card dueling. It has, if you are familiar with card dueling games, a lot of the mechanics will be familiar to you, but it is definitely like more fundamentally an auto battler, like super auto pets, auto chess, that sort of thing. So you just pick the cards that are on the table essentially, and then they just do their thing. They just activate and just go off. Definitely not Exandria. It's listed as a campaign frame in the Daggerheart book. I haven't read the entire write-up. Yeah. First Aiden. I love First Aiden. I also love Dooley. That's the character I'm playing is Dooley. I love Dooley because his items are so funny. I love First Dooley, Chris Army Knife, Hamlet. Don't get me wrong. I also like a lot of Vanessa's items, but they don't have the same je ne sais quoi as Wallace. Wallace is a different breed, man. So that's I left chapter 8 because the ops literally slid my block. Oh, jeez. Oh, damn. Glad that you're okay. Is this a robot deck or are all cards robot themed? This is a robot deck. Or this character is robot themed. So like that is Mac. His stuff is mostly like alchemist, fucking forbidden research themed. And the default character, or not the default, but like the first one that is always free is, or the first character that everyone starts with unlocked is Vanessa, and all of her stuff is like fishing, weapons, generally aquatic themed, sailing, I guess. So yeah, each of the decks has their own distinct theme. But they all like focus on various different mechanics. But they all also share the broad mechanics. Your weapons. Let's see. Sells items.
Bazaar's a crazy place, right?
I don't know what I'm going to take. Alpha Ray seems good. Seems good for Wallace. Although, Wallace kind of takes care of himself. I kind of just want to go faster. I don't really need more damage. I kind of just want to go faster. Whenever your opponent uses a weapon or burns, charge this. I don't love anything. Anything that I'm seeing, I don't love. Let's see. Rocket launcher, maybe. Chemsnail, maybe. Chemsnail at least gives... Ooh, welding torch. Because I want to go shields. Wallace wants shields. And he wants to go fast. This goes faster while you have shields. So it seems in line with what we're looking for. It is just burn. So maybe also rocket launcher? Because he wants to slow the enemy. I think rocket launcher might be the path. It's a little bit weird, but I think I see a way forward. This just like kills them really quick, which I think we will want to change eventually, but right now it's okay. Ooh. Okay, we might be selling things because this is Kev's Armory is health and shield items. I know literally nothing about this game, so welcome to background noise. Hell yeah. From what you know of Daggerheart, can you predict the characters that the cast has made? I mean, I'll take some stabs at it. I think the answer, if I take that as a yes or no question, the answer is no. I don't think I can predict them, but I'll take a stab at it, you know. I'll take a stab at it. It's also hard because I don't know what types of characters they have played in the other campaigns, but I also took a stab at those. Oh wait, where's games? Games. Daggerheart. Create a character. Oh, I have to log in. That's why. Uno momento. Man. Had to support a Daggerheart stream. Are we talking Daggerheart here too? Joy? Yeah, we're talking whatever we want, man. That's the big thing that I want to like. The Critical Role streams used to be kind of the everything streams, but also I had to finish a Critical Role episode in the everything streams. So I'm trying to make the Critical Role streams much more like strictly themed of like, this is where we talk about Critical Role. And then the other streams, like the one I'm doing today, fucking whatever. You know? That's kind of the goal of doing more of these things. And literally I was like, oh, am I going to go live today? Am I not? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go live. Just talk about some shit, you know? Talk about some shit. Why not? Okay. Marit. Let's see. All that's left is to guess the C3, and you can easily predict AOU. Easily, dude. Easily. Okay. Unlock source. What is unlock source? Oh, I do need to buy the book. I'm not gonna buy the book on stream, but I do need to buy it at some point. Let's think. Okay, I'm remembering the vibes because I looked through all of it during beta, obviously. I feel like okay, let's go one by one. So top left, Liam O'Brien. Edgy boy Vaxildon. Then I predicted his C2 character, alcoholic wizard detective. Still a little bit edgy. I think for C3, he said, I've been a little too edgy lately. I'm going to be a little bit more lighthearted. I'm thinking like a grandfather type of vibe for him in C3. Possibly, what's a good D&D character for a grandpa vibe? I'm thinking like a barbarian. I think he's like, oh God, this is a weird cut. But I think he is like the the character in Elantris, the Brandon Sanderson book. The Uncle, not Kevdak, fucking Uncle Unky K. I think Kainine. I think that is going to be the vibe of his C3 character. Grandpa, but also has this inner rage. Used to be an adventurer, gave it up. You know, maybe a little flabby around the tummy nowadays. But is going back out for some reason. So that's his C3 character. I think he, from that, I think he might go a little bit more in the... I think he'll go back in the magical direction. I could see it being a bard. I could see druid. I could see sorcerer. I'm leaning druid. I think he's a weird, like, frog hermit from the dark marsh. Some shit like that. I think he's just a weird guy. And no one really knows what to make of him. But I think he's like kind of earnest. I don't think it's like Vax, where he's a little bit weird and a little bit edgy. Like maybe there's some edginess. He's maybe a little bit rough around the edges. But I think he's much more earnest in AOU. Okay, next to the left. Medium take typing AOU is more work than typing Umbra. What are you gonna do? Wait. Love that idea. Layer info onto probably wrong info, and eventually we're so far afield it goes crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's just an elaborate fanfic. Yeah. Look, AOU to me is easier to say than Umbra, but Umbra is probably easier to type. That's fair. Okay, but Vex. Okay, what did I think Vex was for C2? I think I thought Trickster Cleric, right? Or Twilight Cleric? She's some sort of cleric, but dark cleric. And then I think I thought she was a Dragonborn. Wait. I have the predictions pinned. I don't need to guess at them. What am I doing here? I don't need to guess. No spoilers. Critical Role. Where's the pin? Okay, right. Wait, Vex isn't in here, or not Vex? Fucking Laura. Laura isn't in here. Oh wait, she is here. Halfling Grave Trickster Cleric. That's right. Okay. Halfling Trickster Cleric. That's right. Okay, so C3, I feel like C3. Ranger with Trinket. Dark fucks with you, Cleric. Then she might be bright and shiny for C3. Or she might just not be able to be bright and shiny. There's also that potentiality. I think she might have gone full martial for C3, not really fucked with it all that much, and then go back to spellcasting. So I think maybe for C3, she's like I could see like Psychic Fighter or some shit like that. Or Stealth Rogue. Or not Stealth Rogue, Psionic Rogue. I could see Psionic Rogue for Laura Bailey. I'm going to go Psionic Rogue from Tasha's. Did Tasha's come out before C3 had started? Someone in chat look up Tadra's Cauldron of Everything. Look up when C3 started. Was it before 2020? Or what? It seems like it would be after. I'm almost positive it was after. I think Tasha's was out. AOU is more syllables than Umbra. Yeah, I don't know why. It just means it feels easier to me. I don't know what to say. If Tasha's came out before C3 started, I'm going Psionic Rogue. I don't remember what it's called, like Soul Knife or some shit. So, that's C3. Then I feel like she didn't really fuck with Marshall. She's going back to spellcasting. I think it's Bard. I think she's leaning full into bargaining, charisma, mess with other people. Area. I don't remember the ancestries. I'm not gonna guess communities. That sounds like way too much work. I could see her fawn. I could see her fairy. I could see her galapa. I could see her goblin. Goblin feels right. I feel like goblin bard. I'm gonna go goblin bard for Laura Bailey. Did you not do like 4 predictions for Vex? No, so I was thinking out loud. So Laura Bailey C3. Soul Knife Rogue, but also bright and shiny. I think she has a traumatized past that unlocked her latent psionic capabilities. But I think she's like very Pike coded in C3. I think she is like really bright and shiny and has this terrible inner power. It could be like trauma is superpowers coded, which I don't love, but you know what? What can I say? I can't change the past. I can't change what she chose. And then for Age of Umbra, Goblin Bard. Age of Umbra, Goblin Bard, going full bargain hunter. Going full bargain hunter, we'll say. They released silhouettes of the minis for people to speculate with. Not sure if you want to look at that. What do I need those for? What do I need those for? Next. Travis. I thought Travis was going to be a tiefling inquisitive rogue. That sounds about right. Or no, I changed it to human inquisitive rogue. Jebediah Waters. That's right. Okay. For C3, I feel like Travis is finally switching to a caster. I feel like we could get a paladin out of Travis. Actually, you know what? By C3, what is that setting? What is Oath of Glory from? Oath of Glory. Oath of Glory is from Xandros? Xanathar? No, not Xanathar. Mythic Odyssey of Theros, and then Tasha's. I can very much see Oath of Glory Paladin for Travis in C3. And I'm sticking to it. Oath of Glory Paladin, it just feels right. For Travis, come on. I feel like Oath of Glory Paladin. Was I doing? I didn't do races for them. I'm not going to. I'm not responsible for fan predictions I alone created. Exactly. I'm not responsible. So that's his C3. Oath of Glory Paladin. Absolutely. post Oath of Glory paladin. Now, Daggerheart. I feel like Travis is someone that leans in. I feel like it's going to be warrior or guardian, and I'm feeling guardian. I think he leans in. I think he's a guardian, and I think he might go something weird though. He might go like a weird race, a weird ancestry to kind of cut it. I could see Clank. I could see... Actually, I like Clank a lot because they mess with experiences, right? At character creation, choose one experience. Yeah. I could really see a Clank Guardian. I really, really see that for Travis. Yeah. Mushroom Guardian? Nah, not for Travis. I don't know why. Clank Guardian just... It speaks to me on Travis. Ashley... I predicted Silver Dragonborn, Wild Magic Sorcerer, Shifting Scales. That's right. I still love that character concept. I don't think it's right, but I love that character concept. Ashley C3. C3 is the first one that Ashley is perma there for. So, I think for C3, she will go something more complicated. And I know it's going to sound weird, but I think fighter. I think she's going to go something more character complicated, but like maybe class simple or class customizable. So okay. I think it's either fighter with a very complicated character, warlock with a relatively simple character, or artificer with a mediumly complicated character. I think... Ooh. Okay, there's a character concept that I had at one point in the past that I've never gotten to play that I still want to, which is a Warforged Artificer Battlemaster that is the last or maybe first of their kind and is trying to recreate or create for the first time. Basically like find another. And the Battlemaster Artificer is like their path towards that. So like the little Battlemaster buddy that you get is like they're basically beta version that they hope to eventually like evolve into a sentient Warforged. I think Ashley will be somewhere in that vein for C3. I'm gonna go Warforged Artificer. That sounds like me. Clank Warlock has a fun interaction depending on your GM. Ooh, okay. How does he not do it? Clanka. How does he do it? Also great concept. Thank you. I never got to play it for that. That campaign fizzled before it started, but I was really excited about that one. But I think she's going to be somewhere in that vein. So I'm going to go Warforged Artificer. So for this, after doing Pike, then Shifting Scales, then the Warforged Artificer, I think that's a lot of magic. It's a lot of magic. I could see her going, not Seraph, definitely. I could see her going Ranger. I could see her going Rogue. I could see her going Warrior. I'm going to bet Rogue Fungril. I'm gonna go Rogue Fungril. She's in the networks, man. She's in the sewers. She's creeping through. All of the other characters are big. They're out there. They're bright. They're loud. I think her Age of Umber character, quiet, subdued, stealthy. She's on the beetle paths. Exactly. She's on the beetle paths, but she also knows someone everywhere. They go to a new town. She's got to connect. She knows the Beatles of this town. That's what's going on. I think that's Ashley's character. Taliesin. Taliesin, Percy the Gunslinger. Then, what did I say? Oh, yeah, Tagwin the Blood Hunter. That's right. Right. Okay, I think Taliesin will go much less edgy for C3. I could see Taliesin going... Ooh, what would Taliesin go? Taliesin needs something complicated. Maybe Taliesin will be a warlock in C3. I could see it. I could see him being celestial. I could see him being aberrant mind. I could see Hexblade. I think Taliesin will be a warlock of some manner in C3. Probably a little bit different. So I thought that Sam was going to go a goo warlock in C2. So I think Taliesin will go like celestial warlock in C3. And I think he'll be someone who's like really out to like make a difference. I think he is like very practical, and he took on the pact because he thought it was the best way to make a good difference. Very Will from BG3. I'm seeing that for Taliesin in C3. I'm seeing very Will Blade of Frontiers sort of vibe for Taliesin in C3. But I think it'll be Celestial. I don't think it'll be Fiend. So then for Daggerheart, I could see him going natural. He's never, in my predictions, he's never gone very naturey, very natural. I already predicted Druid for Liam, so I think maybe Ranger, and I think maybe they have a connect, like their characters in Age of Umbra have a connect. But I think Taliesin will be a Ranger, and he's going to be I think he's going to lean into the knowledgable, but I think he's relatively apathetic in a way that like Percy, what did I say his C2 was Tagwin, and his C3 character, Will, we'll say. Or no, we won't call it Will. We'll call it Twill. Or Till. I think Till is his C3 character. That's so dumb. I think all three of Taliesin's previous characters are going to be ideologues of some fashion. And I think that the Ranger is going to be much more day-to-day. I think he's going to be much more, I'm just chilling, man. And I think to model that chillness, Galapa. The world is a cycle. The world is a wheel. What happens because it is meant to happen, because it has happened in the past. It will happen in the future. What happens now needs to happen to facilitate what will happen later and what has happened before. Everything turns on the great wheel of time. And so if a bad thing happens, it happens because it needed to happen. And I think that's going to be his vibe. So Galapa Ranger for that. Marisha, Keyleth the Druid. And then C2, I said High Elf, Drunken Master Monk, Verissa of Taldwell, alias Amelia. That's right. Drunken Master Monk. Ooh, Marisha. I think after Monk and after Keyleth, I think she's leaning full into note-taking for C3. I think she's leaning full into note-taking. Man, it's tough because I might actually think that she would go Inquisitive Rogue, but I think that they're going to see how bad Inquisitive Rogue is. So what's something in a similar vein? Oh, Order of Scribes Wizard. Yeah, I think she goes full note taker. And she might even be like, what was Ashley's, the Warforged Artificer? I think Marisha is Ashley's assistant. I think she's Ashley's assistant scribe. And she's leaning full note taker. and she's going to be Order of Scribes Wizard. That's my guess. And then this one, Full Chaos Sorcerer. Full Chaos Sorcerer. What's the most chaotic ancestry? She doesn't give a shit about shit. You got to understand that first and foremost. She doesn't give a shit about shit. All right? Samaya. Samaya Sorcerer. Or Katari. One of the two. One of the two. Who gives less of a shit about shit? You know? A cat or a monkey? I feel like a cat cares more than a monkey. Am I crazy? Am I crazy here? I feel like a cat cares more than a monkey about life in general. So I think it's Samaya Sorcerer. Simaya? Simea? Simia? 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 Samaya. Simia. Samaya. I like Samaya, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to watch session 0. We'll see. Oh gosh, I should be reading some of this, shouldn't I? Completely custom class again. I don't think we're going to get another custom class after C2. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard of any other custom class, and I had heard both of Matt Mercer Gunslinger and Matt Mercer Bloodhunter before starting this. I think if there was a third one, I would have known about it, honestly. I can't find your article about predictions, and I missed a few. Can you tell me the name of the article? It's not in World Anvil. It is in the No Spoilers Critical Role channel, and it's pinned. It's from Set Theshel Low. Celestial Warlock is such a goofy subclass concept. Just be a paladin or a cleric. It's more transactional, you know? You're not dedicating your life to the deity. You're just, you know, it's a job. Yeah, exactly. Not very magical sounding. Well. In case you think this prediction stuff isn't landing, we're going crazy in spoiler chat. Fuck yeah. Love it. Divine Soul Sorcerer. Ooh, I did forget about Divine Soul. Oh well, we've moved on. Oh yeah. Simeon. Oh, it is probably Simeon. So Simia. Bleh. I don't like that. When do you think Bloodhunter will be? Almost certainly Taliesin C2. I would be actively shocked if it was not Taliesin C2. I don't know, but I will be flabbergasted. My ghast will be fully flabbered if it is not Taliesin C2. If it's not Taliesin C2, then it's Taliesin C3. I don't know what to say. It's I cannot picture literally anyone else at the table playing a Bloodhunter. It just is so Taliesin that it is almost inconceivable to me for it to be anyone else. All right, Sam, half orc goo warlock, Andy Aloysius or Bert. That's right. Okay. What is Sam in C3? What is Sam? Do you think Tal's the only one who likes custom classes? No, I think that Tal is the only one that would play a Blood Hunter specifically. I think he also likes custom classes, but I'll tell you, I'll explain it like this. If you asked me who at the table is most likely to play Blood Hunter, I would say Taliesin, for the same reason that if you ask me who at the table is most likely to have played Vampire the Masquerade, it's Taliesin 10 out of 10 times, dude. Taliesin is... I think I heard once he's like the Lord Vampire of Los Angeles or some shit. Like, it's not even... If you told me that the next, like, let's swap it out for a different custom class. Let's say it's a custom class that's like a fucking... that's something like Dragon Ball Z, like a what are they? Not a Shogun. What am I thinking of? What is Goku? What's the name for that? Anyways, whatever. If you told me that they made a custom class that is evocative of that, Saiyan, a Super Saiyan. Saiyan, thank you. If you told me someone at that table is playing a Saiyan, not Taliesin. Not Taliesin at all. I'd guess a Super Saiyan. I'm guessing Marisha. I'm guessing Sam. Maybe an Ashley. You know, the Talison's not up there. It's because it's Blood Hunter. I know again, I would just be so shocked if it's not him. You will never guess Sam. He has a perfect way to encrypt his next characters from you. Perfect? Oh no. Gunslinger Blood Hunter will make it into Daggerheart? Probably not. I can't see Gunslinger making it in. I mean, you know, I could always be wrong. I could always be surprised. I think there's definitely a chance of that. But I don't know. I could definitely see some domain cards that are evocative of like blood hunting or gunslinging, but I don't see it as like a full-on class. But I could be very wrong. I'm not confident in that. There are guns. Yeah. Yeah, you can just build Percy as a fiery person with guns. Yeah, kinda. Tal for Blood Hunter does make sense for vibes. That's why I'm saying that's why I'm saying I would be so shocked if it wasn't Tal, is because the vibes are just so spot on, you know. Anyways, so Sam. So Bard, Gulak, third character. I think Sam is the type of person that's always going to play a caster of some kind. I think he's not playing a martial. He might play a half caster. He might play a pact caster like Warlock. But I think he's always going to have spells. So in C3, I could see Eldritch Knight. Or I could also see Psionic Fighter. And maybe him and... Who did I say was the Psionic Rogue? Well, no. That wouldn't make sense. I don't think they would both go the Psionics, unless there's a backstory reason. I could see Psionics being a bit of a theme. And I do know that eventually they published the Graviturgy and Chronomancy stuff. So I could see Sam being what's like the Chrono Fighter? There's one like Chronomancy Fighter. That's like a whole thing, right? Chronomancy Fighter, yeah, shut up. Chronomancy subclass replacement. I'm pretty sure that there's a like Chronomancy styled fighter. It's like the Temporal Knight or something. Am I going nuts on this? I have been totally ignoring the Graviturgy and Chronomancy stuff that I know did come that or at least a lot of it came from Critical Role. So there is... He's going to see what he says that C2 is an all-warlock, yeah. Sam and Laura, subjects of psionic wizards, like the kids out of Stranger Things. Shared backstory, but not siblings. You know, that is kind of where I was going with thinking about Sam as a psionic fighter, is there could be a backstory connect. If, like, maybe psionics or maybe a slightly larger theme within C3... I could really see a backstory connect there with Sam and Laura. Echo Knight. Yes, Echo Knight. Is Echo Knight a real thing, or is that just like very popular homebrew? Is Echo Knight actually from something? Oh, it's from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. Okay, well. Okay. But you acknowledged you knew of it. I did. Yeah. I knew of this thing with Okay. I feel as though Echo Knight is going to be similar to that sorcerer subclass that Gilmore is. That like child of the rune shit or whatever. I feel as though it's going to be similar to that. I think we're going to see an Echo Knight in C3 or in C2, but no one in the party is going to be one. And I think, I'm going to place my bet that Sam Regal is an Echo Knight in C3. And then I think he will either be Infernus or Katari. Though I think Katari. I think he'll be Katari. And even as an Echo Knight, I don't think he's going to be overly dexterous. And his Warlock won't be overly dexterous. I could see him being like a little bouncy guy. I could see him being like a little bouncy, like ninja type guy. I've already gone rogue for Ashley. Could be warrior. Yeah. I see him being a Katari, although that's very Echo Knight. Oh no, I've written myself into a trap. Maybe Seraph. Isn't there a Seraph that can like throw their weapon? Because that's more Eldritch Knight. I could see that. I could see... Yeah. It'll also be his brightest and shiniest character at that point. I think in Age of Umbra, he's going to be, contrary to all of his characters... Well, no. I guess in my prediction, his Goo Warlock is a little bright and shiny. I think his Age of Umbra is going to be like a Vanquisher of the Dark. Not necessarily lawful stupid, but like, you know. Somewhere in there. I think he's going to be like a Thor-esque character. Yeah. I think he's going to be a Thor-esque character in Umbra. And he's going to be here to vanquish the dark, you foolish mortals that have let your realm go to ruin. Thank goodness I'm here to save you. And actually not Katari for that. That doesn't follow. I could see Dracona. I could see Fawn, Giant. Ooh, Giant. Maybe even Infernus. I could see Infernus. I could see Infernus as a, like, Drizzt O'Dourdan or whatever the fuck his name is. What's that name? Drizzt Dourdan. Yeah. I think Sam is going to be a Drizzt-type character where he is going to be infected by the darkness, but he has risen above. And he's going to be an Infernus Seraph. And he will vanquish the dark. He will vanquish the dark. And that's what he's going to do. And those are my guesses. Those are my guesses for the 1, 2, 3 thing. Too much Googling about chronomancy stuff might be spoilery. Yeah. I didn't want to avoid it. I didn't want to do it too much, but yeah. Mega just parried those spoilers. Ding, ding. Now, you know it's a wild mount thing. I mean, that wild mount is a thing. Yeah. Echo Knight has a very cool class name that immediately gives you a sense of what it is and what it can do. Short and memorable. Great branding choice. I agree. Echo Knight's fucking sick. I think more than... Well, actually, no. Gunslinger and Bloodhunter are both... Bloodhunter maybe a little bit less evocative, but Echo Knight's great. Honestly, I think that fighter subclasses are really well named, maybe with the exception of Champion. But I think that all of the fighter subclasses, first party and third, are really well named. Yeah. He knew that the book was a thing, but he doesn't know what campaigns, if any, go there. Wildmount, I would be fucking shocked if they do not go to Wildmount. Oh my god. The other flies, only some Sarah's fly. Travis got to have that Thor reference. I'm saying. So those are my guesses. Those are my guesses. Oh no. It's been more than 30 minutes. Oh no. Champions should be called fighter. A fighter. The most fighter of fighters. They really should be. Champions are so funny. I won't call myself a champion defender necessarily. Like, I don't love champion, but I do like it. I think champion could basically go unchanged if people were a little bit hotter on base fighter. I think if people liked baseline fighter more, champion would people would also be more up on champion. Oh, I should have bought that barbed wire. Damn, that was silly. That's fine. Rogue Scrapper. I might get the barbed wire from Rogue Scrapper. But yeah, it's because champion fighter really does give you some decent power-ups, but fighter at a baseline only having customization through the feats, which I do think is substantial, but only having it through the feats is tough because you also have to worry about, like, feats aren't only a customization thing. They also have to, like, massage your overall stats, which makes fighter not mad necessarily, not multi-attribute dependent, but very kind of iffy to play. Like something like Eldritch Knight, people tend to like a lot more because it gives you just that additional layer of customization options, I think. The more they all just look like elves with different ears, or one cute tooth peeking out. Lol. I do think fighter isn't as unpopular as popular culture suggests. The most vocal people tend to be the most experienced, and they tend to dislike simple classes. I agree. I think I am a fighter defender. I like fighter. But that said, you will probably never catch me playing a champion. Because it does just have that, ooh, another copper ed? We love a copper ed. It is just missing just a little bit of customization for me. I love a lot of stuff about it, but I just need a little bit more. Pornography, what? I think this is good. The only thing I'm debating on is if Welding Torch is good enough to justify having it when we also have the rocket launcher. I feel like it might just be better just to throw on the Firefly and First Aiden. Because it's like, I kind of just want First Aiden in there. Because healing is defensive, or defends you from poison. Otherwise, all I have are shields, and poison gets around shields. So First Aiden protects me from poison. And it's like, if I don't put that in, I would need to get rid of something else to justify Welding Torch, and I want to keep Copper Ed. I definitely keep Obsidian Wallace. So then it's the Red Firefly. All right. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Pornography, hello. There we go. Grand Founder. All right. Oh, they've got no poison. All right. I would have been much better off with the Welding Torch. Well, you live and learn. At least we're dealing some poison. They have some healing, but I think we're doing enough poison to kind of to keep stacking that healing, or to keep ahead of the healing, because the healing, whenever you heal yourself, you clear 10% of both burn and poison. The question will be, can I do enough damage to him, and will I have enough shields to survive the sandstorm? I actually think he might still win, unfortunately, because he just has such a dummy amount of shields. Oh, it was so close. Shit. Oh, the welding torch probably gets me there. Fuck. Oh, if I'd had the welding torch, I'd probably clear that. Damn. Run ads. Yeah, let's run ads. I gotta pee. We'll run ads
incoming. Take cover.
We're gonna run ads in a minute, and I get to choose my core as Dooley. Prepping for tomorrow's session, building the dungeon. The boss can walk through walls and its layers and improvised labyrinth. Feeling so evil. Ooh, you know how I feel about walking through walls. But frankly, as long as he can't stand in walls. I like shit that can walk through walls. I hate shit that can just exist within walls. See me reacting to Sondor. See me reacting to fucking Orthax Smokey. A labyrinth guy that can walk through walls. I'm into that. Especially, I'm assuming like the walls are kind of like thin enough, but he takes damage and gets pushed out. Beautiful. Fucking ideal. I love that. Absolutely. What's up? We're back. Oh my god, the Bazaar's so loud. I need to have something that sets the game volume to like 50% or some shit. All right, we're back. All right, okay. Now, the question. Deals damage equals to this item shield. I want something that gets him more shield or makes him activate more often. Now, this is the question. There's like 3 cores that could accomplish this. The armored core gives shield. That's not bad. The core charges all items to the right, which makes them activate faster. Also not bad. Very flexible. The companion core hastes adjacent items, which makes them activate faster. And when you use another friend, charge this 1 second. Now, the core, the normal core, is easily the most flexible of the bunch. And it would accomplish what we're going for with Obsidian Wallace. If I want to lean into friends, which I have a lot of friends right now, but that could change. Companion core might be better. Armored core would be nice if I had a ton of shield items, which I do have copper ed. But I think I'm just going to go flexible. I just want to be flexible because the only thing I really am committed to right now here is Obsidian Wallace, and he will benefit from the core. So we just want to make sure that Obsidian Wallace is to the right of the core. Then we want to look at what anyone else needs. So he likes to be next to items that haste or slow. First Aiden does haste. And then no one else really cares. And I just want everything else to charge the core. Because when you use any item to the left of this, charge this 1 second. So all of these guys activating charges the core. And the core charges Obsidian Wallace. So everything feeds into Obsidian Wallace. As it should, really. Oh, man. Oh, wait. Let's see. I see people talking about Gygax. Good old Gygax. And I don't have much to say about old Gygi. So I'm gonna opt out of the discussion a little bit. Let's see. I like Welding Torch. The hope is that we have a shield relatively consistently, and then we're also going to haste the core with the GPU. When the adjacent amount of haste or slows. Yeah, because both of these are hasting now, so they'll be charging the red Firefly as well. Let's see. And I'm trying to get better at not commenting on chat constantly, because it's not sustainable, you know? No one uses it to describe a temperature they like. That is true. Well, yeah, that's true. Lukewarm means like it's not an unpleasant temperature, but it's not the temperature you would want it to be. Like, I think that lukewarm implies that you wanted it warm. Or you wanted it cold. But the fact that it's lukewarm is not, like, immediately offensive. Like, you drink something lukewarm, and you're like, oh, that's not what I expected. Okay. You know, it's not like,
Let's go!
Like warm is above room temperature, but not hot and not warm. Yeah, it's a weird colloquial phrase. It has like a strange amount of diversity within its meaning. What up?
Some recipes call for things that are lukewarm. Water that is lukewarm.
Well, that's fair, but we're not talking about cooking. All right.
I'm saying it's generally in a negative context, or that you want it to be warm.
If you
it is lukewarm, but I'm just saying that some recipes say
if
add
you're
lukewarm water.
If you're calling something lukewarm, like saying like this is a lukewarm take, I think that's, you know. Also, wouldn't a cooking recipe normally say room temperature instead of lukewarm? Like, what does lukewarm mean in a cooking context?
Well, I didn't say it was a good term. These aren't great recipes that say it.
It's the same ones that say like a pinch or like a skosh or a nubbin.
Yeah, like
It's like your grandma's recipes sort of
yeah,
deal.
you should know the temperature of it generally.
So that sounds like a pretty unhelpful way to use it. That's called connotation definition, baby. Is lukewarm hotter than room temp or colder? Ooh, I think it kind of depends. I think if someone told me that it was lukewarm water, that might be room temperature, but it's probably warmer.
No, it's definitely warmer.
Oh, Paige says it's definitely warmer.
Yeah.
I'd give it like 80% warmer, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone said that's lukewarm water and I taste it and it's room temperature. I wouldn't be shocked.
The thing is to me that
You got to be in the mic if you're going to talk.
the thing is to me that room temperature is not warm necessarily. Room temperature is like 0.
Yeah.
And
It would
lukewarm
depend on the
has
temperature of the
a
room.
degree of warm.
I agree. I would, if someone said lukewarm, I would expect it to be warmer than room temperature, but I wouldn't be shocked and like comment on it if it was room temperature. Like if someone said that soda is lukewarm, I would probably, and then I drank it and it's room temperature. That wouldn't be a weird thing to say. It's like the soda
That's
is
fair.
lukewarm.
They're close enough.
They're
yeah.
close enough.
But generally, yeah.
Generally, it's warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hear me out, Luke Cold. I don't think I've ever heard someone use the phrase Luke Cold, but I kind of am into it.
It just reminds me of the 10 things I hate about you. That's like, I know you can be underwhelmed and you can be overwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed?
You're right. Luke Cold does have the same vibe as whelmed.
Yeah.
And I do love whelmed.
I don't know what it means, but I love
No.
it. I'm whelmed.
Yeah. I like whelmed. Yeah. If someone said it was room temperature water and I tasted it and the result was cooler than room temp, it should be called cool. It could be called Luke Cool. When this gains haste, your items gain 4% crit chance. Well, I would love that, but I don't think we can consistently get that. So I don't know that that's worth it. Although maybe. I don't know. Wait, that's from a movie? I thought that was from the Young Justice cartoon? That is, I believe, from 10 Things I Hate About You, yeah. And I would assume 10 Things I Hate About You came out before Young Justice?
1998, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Young Justice was airing pretty early, but I don't know which one ripped that. Yeah. Whelmed is a perfect state. I mean, apparently Luke's etymology is from an old word meaning weak. Lukewarm is a weak warm. It would make sense to say Luke Cold. Young Justice was like early 2010s. So Young Justice probably ripped it from 10 Things. Yeah. Which, like, I don't know. That's just a funny phrase. I'm not going to think less of Young Justice for that.
It's a great quote.
It's just a really good quote. So I support Young Justice ripping that. Let's see. What do we do here? I think we just take a small weapon. We just like see what we get. You know, it's just additive. Core or another ray. Your weapons gain 4 damage. I don't have any rays besides the and I just have the core. Alpha rays probably going over to the right. It's probably getting sold. Sharpening stone? No. Lost crate, maybe. Medium items? Probably not. A medium item that I would want is going to be too expensive, so lost crate. I missed a Young Justice quote. Oh no! It's said by Robin in the first ep. It's always just stuck with me. It's a great phrase. Medium item or skill? Probably skill. Skills are always good. Skills are never bad. Leftmost shield has 20 shield. Great. That's delightful. We love that. All right, a Vanessa. Now, all right, here's the thing. Firefly is good for charging the core, which is charging Obsidian Wallace. Same thing with Welding Torch. However, Vanessa often goes real fast and real fancy. And this Vanessa has at least 1 win. So they're not a slump. 1 win, 1 loss. Same record as us. So I'm leaning more defensive with Copperhead. Because Copperhead's just another source of shielding. And that's going to get us a little bit more longevity in case Vanessa comes out real hard, real fast. You know, has a bunch of like ammo items that like are trying to just dump damage on you in the first couple seconds. We want more immediate shielding for that sort of thing. Even if maybe Wallace scales a little bit slower in that case. I think this is worse for like long term if like the run lasts like a minute, but it's better for like a short term explosion. Ooh, okay. They have no scaling, which I think is good. I think we made the right choice. I think we needed the immediate shielding more than we needed long-term scaling. And we still might lose, honestly, because this is just they just have a good thing going on. Oh, but I think we... Ooh.
Bring her back. I've got another salvo in me.
Oh, that was so close. Oh my god. Dude, I was just right. I just fucking called it, and I'm gonna take that win. That was a piloting diff right there. I think if I keep the Firefly in, dude, that's something I really think would be so interesting about the Bazaar. If they added in the ability for you to replay matches with like swapping out items, like the first match still counts for your record. You know, I'm not saying you can like redo matches, but it'd be so interesting to like be able to go in after the fact and like try things out and switch and like see what would have happened if you had done different things. But I think that was just a piloting diff. Sorry about it. I don't know what that was. See you later, crazy. Have a good one. I just got a job as an English tutor. Oh, fun. Do you consider this would be? Oh man, I'm interested to know. Is like, do you just know English well enough to where watching a stream like this like isn't a challenge at all, or is watching like Critical Eyes or like one of my streams like? Do you consider that sort of like English practice, like parsing through what I'm saying and stuff like that? That'd be so interesting. The only time I've been like fully immersed in a different language was sign language when I worked at the school for the deaf, and I was definitely like I was just not fluent enough. I was fluent enough to make myself understood, but it was still like an active challenge. Like I was having to clarify things a lot, and I was like, I definitely viewed it as like practice and study. Are you against other players? I thought you were progressing against levels. No, there are other players. So at the bottom of the hour, you fight a monster. You fight like an NPC essentially. But at the top of the hour, you fight a person every day. So you were matched asynchronously against someone else that is on the same day as you. So like I'm on day 4 right now. At the end of today, I will be matched against someone else that is also finishing day 4. Yeah. So it's asynchronous PvP. And then you're trying to get 10 victories before you lose all your health. Not a challenge for me. It's passive practice, I guess. Gotcha. But you're not like thinking about it as practice. Gotcha. At this point, I think in English speaking, though, not nearly enough practice there. Oh, I get that. I mean, yeah, there's just the mechanical. I really get that with sign language. Like, there's an amount of muscle memory to speaking another language of like that I feel like I have an intuitive understanding of. With like, there's so much just physical muscle memory in signing. And I can imagine that it is similar with speaking another language at fluency where like you can understand, you can think in it, but just making your mouth make the sounds is like a totally different experience and challenge. Yeah. What's it like to think in a different language from where you started? That would be really, I'd be curious to know as well. Because with sign language, it's basically just a different way of speaking, quote unquote, an existing language. Like, I always say sign language, but I learned American Sign Language, which is based on English. It is a way to convey English words. There's also, there's Russian Sign Language. There's, I think, German. Most of the European countries, most African countries have their own sign. I don't know about a lot of Asian countries. I don't know if there is like a distinguishment between like Chinese and Thai sign language or not. Because I know that some countries don't have much of a distinguishment. Like all English-speaking countries primarily use a lexicon that I believe is based on American Sign Language. Like I think there is British Sign, but I don't think it's that different. But I honestly don't know. I'm honestly not that well versed in international sign. For me, it's basically the same, but the language does shape thought in its own way. That's so interesting. I've heard that broadly before, but that's so fascinating to me of like how the way that you, I don't know, just, yeah, the way that you, the language that you think in shaping the thoughts because of just the words that exist, the way that grammar is structured. Oh, it's so interesting. And like the deeper thought of like how that could shape entire cultures. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating to me. We'll put the red firefly back in. He can be back in now that the board is expanded. My wife's ancestry involves a dying language. She's trying to learn it as part of keeping it alive. Whoa. That's super interesting. The language itself focused on the collective above all else. It's far easier / more natural to talk about groups of people in the community than it is to talk about only yourself. That's so fascinating. I'm sure it's like, different, a wider variety of words to talk about the collective. Like there's one very because I was learning I took Russian in college, and that was where I think I would say my eyes were more opened to how much language can shape your thought process of just like the way that like just the sheer words that exist in Russian that do not exist in English, that just have no equivalent, and the things that it allows you to say with much less mental effort. It's so fascinating. I've forgotten most of it, unfortunately. Menya Zavut Mega. But I really yeah, it was so interesting. I can still read, if I really focus, I can read the Cyrillic alphabet, but I've lost most of my speaking and actual like language skills with it. But so fascinating. I mean, even like something like in English we've had to invent a gender neutral pronoun. For various reasons, especially pertinent to the LGBTQ community. And it's like a whole controversy. Or at least, not really anymore, but it has been over my lifetime of like people saying like gender neutral pronouns are unnatural. We shouldn't invent new parts of language just to fit changing culture. And it's like, bro, that's what language is. It is evolving ways to communicate new concepts based on evolving culture. But number two, other languages just have gender neutral pronouns already. So it's so interesting. people are very much still yelling about that. They are. It's just not as big as it once was. It's sort of fallen out of the larger cultural conversation, but I'm sure that it's still very much on people's minds in some areas. Yeah. I find it fascinating that everyone knows native grammar rules by sounds right, even though we can't explain technically why. That is very interesting, yeah. There's no way for a non-binary person, they, them, to accurately speak about themselves in the first person. The grammar just doesn't fit because of grammatical gender. Yeah. English is more structured language. There are very specific sentence structures there. Yeah. Singular they was invented in the 15th century? Possibly. I also think that that's something that is... I wish was more well known about how recent some things that we take for granted in English really are. Like, a lot of English was invented relatively recently. But... once saw a video about the way that we all just know rules. There's this really intricate rule about what order you put adjectives before the noun. I can see that. I mean, it's something that I learned about during my sign language education, was about how complex grammatical rules in sign. Because for a while, I think there was... This is a fuzzy recollection, so take all this with a grain of salt. But to my recollection, there was some amount of debate about the fact that we know these intricate rules is a aspect of speech, not necessarily language processing. Basically, there was a theory that certain sounds were easier for our vocal cords and tongues and mouths to form, or we all get culturally used to doing it in a certain way, and our mouths and vocal cords and muscles get used to doing it in that certain way, and that's how we develop these structures that just sound right. But they observed I don't know if it's actually called Mexican Sign Language or not. I wish I could remember more exact details, but there was this, it wasn't really an experiment, so to speak, but there was a situation in which Mexico opened its first all-deaf school, and there was no standardized Mexican Sign Language. And none of the kids knew, American Sign Language or International Sign Language or anything like that. And they just all got them together, and they started by lip reading and doing the methods of communication that they already knew. There was no Spanish Sign Language. And they evolved. They invented sign language, a completely unique lexicon of sign language within, I want to say 2 years. And within 4 or 5 years, it was as complex as American Sign Language. And they developed complex grammatical structures totally independently of physical speech. And it was some of the structures were different than Spanish, the language that they were writing in and likely thinking in. So it was kind of this proof that there is an amount of our language processing that understands these patterns and intuits these patterns totally separately from the mechanism of speech. Which is I don't have any sort of takeaway. It's just very interesting to me. Yeah. The president is still yelling about it. Won't continue on this train of thought. Just, it's not a problem we've left yet. How do I say it? It is. I'm not ranking it on a hierarchy of I'm not saying it's below 0. I am saying the hierarchy of cultural issues has shifted. I'm very well aware that it is still a problem, but the president's yelling about so many things that you know, I'm not talking in terms of like objective non-zero value. I'm talking about it in terms of like degree of magnitude. I fully understand what you're saying. It's just I'm focusing on the larger or the more prominent things. Yeah. Nicaraguan sign language? Was it Nicaraguan? Not Mexico. Okay. I knew that I couldn't remember it all in detail. Nicaraguan sign language. Interesting. Yeah. Play charades with a group of people for 2 years straight. You will develop shorthand that only that group understands. Yeah. Cases, nominative, genitive, possession in Russian are very much a just no rule. I could never explain to someone whose language doesn't have this feature. What Sarah says is exactly what the video is about. There's a very specific order that we all naturally do and could never give the list if prompted. Yeah. Anyways, it was just, it's very, very interesting. Nicaraguan. I'll try to remember that for next time. Unfortunately, I probably just remembered it as south of the U.S. Unfortunately. But yeah, it's super, super, super interesting. Descriptive pattern in English: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. A lovely, small, old, round, blue French wooden table. Interesting. A wooden, lovely, small? Yeah, that would kind of be weird. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that, like, of that specific, like, ordering concept. That is very interesting. Interesting, yeah. We all know that I'm very, or maybe we don't all know, but I am very interested in language broadly. And it is something that I often get distracted with on Critical Role. And that's, you know, once again, we encounter one of the reasons and rationale for me doing more of these sorts of non-CR streams, is to talk about these sorts of stuff that, or these sorts of things that do interest me. Oh, I don't think I had enough shields to do this fight. We're gonna see.
A true tragedy.
Just barely. Just barely. Just barely. The first time your enemy falls below half health each fight, burn 15. Hell yeah. I love that. Scrap. I probably will just do scrap, because the more I can pump Obsidian Wallace, the better. Boop. Oh, I forgot that Copper Ed is kind of stealing the frontal shielding. I'm going to move Copper Ed all the way to the back. That's fine. Just charge all of our shield skills. I'm good with that. Or green organic big apple. Green. Did you hear me stutter? Green organic big apple. Big green organic apple. Big green organic would be my natural way to say it. Yeah. Is that correct? Big green organic apple. Big organic green. No, not big organic green apple. Big green organic apple. Yeah. I could not. I would have no idea why that is the way that it is. I think here organic serves as origin. That's fair. Yeah. So I would say big green organic. Yeah. Interesting. That's a much better example, because it is something that I can imagine literally saying in real life. And yeah, I can't. Saying it the other two ways would be wrong, and I would not have been able to describe why. It's fascinating. Fascinating. First Aiden upgrade. Of course we're upgrading First Aiden. You gotta understand. You gotta understand what it is about First Aiden. Now, we don't really care about friends, because we just got the core. And we don't really care about poison. Coppered's the only one that poisons. And the damage that we're actually scaling, you know, between like poison, burn, and normal damage, we're doing normal damage. So we're going to have to get through shields anyways. Burn impacts shields. We burn from the Flame Juggler. We burn from that. We burn from that. I think Induction Aegis might just be better than Copperhead for us. It's a little bit more shielding. Slightly higher cooldown, but I think that's okay. I think we do that. Now, the further question is, Black Spider. When an adjacent item poisons or burns, charge this for 1. Now, I could get rid of the GPU, or I could get rid of Chris Army Knife. And I could slap Black Spider between these two burners, and then he's slowing their items. It's aggressive. It gives me more time to build up Obsidian Wallace. It's charging the core probably faster than... Well, it might not be charging the core faster than GPU, but it could be. We're going to at least try it. This... we might not end up sticking with that, but at least for now, that's okay. Oh, and it still triggers Red Firefly. So it could be triggering Red Firefly even faster than GPU. So that's something to think about. Something to think about. I think Copperhead, you're probably going over here. Goggles, you're probably going over there. Rocket Launcher, probably over there. Maybe GPU sticks around. Because if there was a button that made everyone speak one language, ooh. Yeah, if you could do it. If it was a genie thing. Yeah. There would be... Yeah, there would definitely be a war. It would probably be a net good. You're right. So it would have to be like a genie wish. You couldn't just like get the world together and decide. Emergency burn. The first time you fall below half health. The first time your enemy falls below half health. Ah, I see. Okay. When you crit, your shield items gain 5 shield. What do I have that crits? Not that. I do have that. Okay, so my weapons crit. My weapons crit. First time you use a large item. I don't have any large items. Ooh. This helps our scaling. This helps us stay in the fight if we're getting overwhelmed. It's tough. This is more like we win better. This is more we lose less. So it kind of depends on how confident I'm feeling. Honestly, not that confident. I think I'm gonna take the burn.
I think you had a breakthrough.
It would be a little bit like cultural genocide since culture is heavily intertwined. It would be. It would be. It's like a... I don't know that I wouldn't want to make the decision. Honestly, I would not envy someone that was presented with that decision, because it's like I do think that there would be a lot of good that would come out of it, but you're right in that there's like an inherent bad with doing that, like very inherent bad. That is kind of impossible to like ignore or reconcile. Yeah. Okay, we didn't even get to half health. I should have done we win better. I shouldn't have been so down on our build. We're doing great. We're doing great. What were the big damage dealers there? It's the core. The core's just going off a lot. It's going off 5 times. And then Wallace. Who could have guessed? Now, Chris Army Knife. Chris Army Knife is only to the right of the core because otherwise he'll suck up frontal shielding, honestly. Otherwise, I would definitely put him to the left of the core. I might look to replace Chris Army Knife. I don't know that he's pulling his weight, honestly. If I'm being totally frank. A universal language, the only fair thing to introduce the totally new universal language. Esperanto. People have been trying. People have tried for a universal language for a long time. Tokipona? Although Togipona isn't really a Togipona isn't necessarily an attempt at a truly what I would call like quote unquote functional language. It is more of a I mean, this sounds very high-minded, but it's more of a philosophical language. Yeah. I think even those reflects the biases of societies that makes them. It's true. No one would care to learn that language. Absolutely. No one would care. Yeah. It is talked about in a lot of conlangs. It is. Let's see. I think I need to not have chat be up there. It's easier to see if it's down there, but then I can't see my OBS, which gives me anxiety. Because I can always see my OBS normally, but that's probably like not a good habit to be in, of feeling like I need to see it. It'd probably just be better for me if I didn't. When this gains haste, this gains 5 burn. Oh, interesting. I do have a lot of hasters. Well, okay, I have about 1 haster. Maybe I don't have as many as I thought. The thermal lance. This gains haste. It also gains 5 burn. Now that's interesting. When this gains haste, it gains 5 poison. We don't care about poison. Haste the item to the right of this. Oh, I could direct the haste with that. I could swap the thermal lance and the power sander for the GPU and the welding torch. It'd be a tiny bit slower, but it's another scaling source. And it's more haste overall, which I do like. We're going to try it. We're going to try it, you know? We can always go back. Not going to lie, this seems like a real boring game. To be fair, I'm playing it a lot slower than I normally do. I'm saying a lot of it out loud when I normally wouldn't. But also, auto battlers aren't for everyone. The benefits, at least as far as I see them, are that you do not have to worry about mechanical skill. Like if you think about something like Marvel Rivals, you have to be able to aim in Marvel Rivals. You can also like have problems with nausea and things like that make the experience of playing a game that you have to operate in real time a lot more difficult. We're going to go Scoville. Whereas if it's a game where you only have to make choices and the real-time stuff is handled for you, then you get the strategy and like the satisfaction, theoretically, of a video game without actually having to do the real-time operation of it. But that is very much not for everyone. That is not for everyone.
The other end voice beat me.
See you later, G. Urkup. Have you considered dropping this after 1 round and opening Stardew Valley? Bro. Fucking very bold. I respect the boldness to call this boring and then recommend Stardew Valley. I'm not trying to hate on Stardew Valley, but if there is one critique that has ever been leveled at Stardew, it is that it is boring. So that is a bold set of actions for you to take, Sarah, which I respect. I respect someone with strong opinions. Stardew Valley is easier for a casual observer to understand what is happening. That is true. That is true. There is a much higher barrier of understanding for deck builders, auto battlers, that sort of thing. That's true. Outrageous. Look, I'm just saying what other people are saying. That's the thing. That's the thing. You can't. I'm just levying the critiques that others might have. I also happen to share them, but that's that's totally separate from the point. I may or may not have given up on Stardew every time that I've ever tried to play it because, oh my god, I don't care about anything happening in that game. But I know that people love it. I know it's a masterpiece. Unless, you know, you enjoy Harvest Moon, in which case it's a ripoff. But I know, I understand. Stardew Valley is contentious. It's like Undertale. It's like saying that Undertale is boring, you know? It's something you can't say on the internet, no matter how much you may agree with it. No matter how much a person like me might say that both Stardew Valley and Undertale are both incredibly boring games that I don't know why anyone would play. No matter who is saying that, it's not me, even though I agree with them. What are we talking about? I don't know. Stardew Valley is amazing and only boring if you don't like combat and romance and world building. Oh, I died. Oh my god, I died so quick. Are they just way faster than me? They probably are. Their core only went off 3 times. What? Oh, I see what happened. They have security camera, which made their force field crit, and so they just did a fuckload of damage. Have you tried? You haven't tried with me coaching you? Yeah. A game is definitely good if you need a coach to be interested in it. We could convert you. Undertale is kind of boring. Bro. You're coming out with the hot takes. The very spicy takes. Like I said, I think you're very entitled to those takes. Just understand what you're saying. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't find... every time I have tried Stardew Valley, I have not found the world engaging. I have found the characters to be too tropey, and I very much understand that they likely have hidden depths to them, and that's fine. I also don't like gift-giving sims. Gift giving is, as a gameplay mechanic, is incredibly, how do I say it? Incredibly annoying to me. I do not like learning, having like an encyclopedia of what someone likes and convincing them to like me via said encyclopedia. That feels a little gross to me, frankly. But I get it. It's that, you know, I very much understand that is not. I don't know what to do here. I'm thinking something like this, but I don't know how much these guys were doing any heavy lifting. I kind of feel like they weren't. I kind of feel like they were terrible, and I don't like them. But I could be wrong. But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying about Stardew Valley. But yeah, I don't like gift giving as a method of romancing, which is tough because that is one of the primary methods of romancing in quite a few games. Not just Stardew. It's that is the method of romance in a lot of games where you are not I'm gonna put that over there. Where you're not locked in on who to romance. You know, where there's a lot of options on who to romance. One of the easiest ways to accomplish that is with gift giving. It's just not my cuppa. I'm teasing you, but for real, Stardew is the most addictive game loop of any I've played in a decade. I get that. I also will say, from a very personal level, this is nothing wrong with Stardew. This is something wrong with me. I hate having to manage dates, unless it's in D&D, where I have full control. But I do not like managing dates and like days of the week as much as you have to in Stardew. That's not for me. But I get it. I barely do the gift-giving stuff. It's very simple and transactional. Yeah. Farming, fighting, and relationships. I mostly do the first two. Fair enough. Also fishing. Aren't you into dating sims, Mega? I don't know if that's a joke or not. No, very much not. Because I am not aromantic, but I am ace. And I'm not particularly into... Ooh, shielded cooling fan? Hello? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Micro Dave did not do it for me. Micro Dave, I was not very impressed, frankly. But no, dating sims do not do it for me. I do not think about romance a lot in media. Even though I'm, into it in real life. I'm not into it in media. I'm going to put these... I don't know. I think maybe that, and maybe that. And maybe that, and that. And that. I think this is maybe the way to go, and then we need like one more. Maybe Induction Aegis. Maybe I was sleeping a little too much on how many shields we had. Also, the Black Spider, I think, was doing more than I gave it credit for. Honestly. If this gains haste, that gains haste. And Jason, I am haste or slows. Poisons or burns. I don't know. I don't know if the GPU is doing enough. I think I'm valuing the GPU too much. I think this is maybe more the vibe. I like how chat is just hot takes about Stardew and my insane ramblings about how emojis are and universal language are as close as it gets. Look, that sounds like the ideal state for a chat of mine, frankly. Frankly, I'm supportive. I'm very supportive. Get a friend? Ooh, let's get a friend. Micro Dave. Fuck. Micro Dave returns once again, rears his ugly head. You know what? Maybe I'm valuing the scaling of the thermal lance too much. Maybe that's my problem. Because I already have Obsidian Wallace. Obsidian Wallace is already kind of my end con. Everything else should just be charging the core. So why do I care about the thermal lance? Maybe that's the question I have to ask. Maybe that's the question we all have to ask ourselves. From time to time, at least. Did you romance anyone in BG3? I romanced Karlak. But it's hard to even... I mean, it is because it is not because I wanted to smooch her. It is because I needed her to continue her existence. If she did not continue her existence, that would make me immensely sad because she is a better person for the world than I was. And that did wind up in a romance, which is also how my romance happened in real life. Paige is an immensely better person than I am, and I love supporting her in being that person. But ever since then, I have not romanced anyone. I mean, I guess I have, but not, like, particularly on purpose, honestly. I have to actively fight the urge to romance Karlak. Let's see. Because I have been friends with everyone that I've ever dated long before we actually started dating. I have to care about someone first to have any desire to date them. I don't know what to do here. Probably the docks. I took you more as a tycoon managing games kind of person. Let's see. You know what? Let's do a little experiment. I honestly don't know. Wait one second. Let's just turn off the screen share for a second. I'm not gonna do any pre-looking. I'm just making sure that I don't leak anything. Oh, I can't even flash this. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna read off recent games. And then I'll go and I'll read off top games. I'll switch to just chatting. What am I doing? Marvel Rivals. Oh, yeah, there we go. Marvel Rivals, Brotato, Speedrunners, Oblivion, Slay the Spire, Lethal Company, Sunless Skies, Baldur's Gate 3, Trackmania, Cyberpunk 2077, Outer Wilds, Wasteland 3, Pyre, Colony Ship. You know, not a lot of management in there, honestly. I definitely have done management. Let's view my profile. Let's see most played. So games, sort. I'll just sort by playtime. Yeah. yeah. That makes sense. Number 1 most played, Sid Meier's Civilization 5. Second most played, Brotato. Third, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Fourth, Sid Meier's Civ 5. 6, Stellaris. I used to be very into 4X. I've lost that drive a lot. 6, RimWorld. So that's a little bit on the, management side. Baldur's Gate 3, Elder Scrolls Online, Crusader Kings 2, PUBG, Fallout 4. Dyson Sphere Program. Dyson Sphere Program is probably the closest to like a true blue like management sim that's in my top games. But yeah, not very many. Not very many. Not my thing. I'm not like a Zoo Tycoon, Planet Tycoon, or Roller Coaster Tycoon, whatever you call it. Not particularly my energy. I'm rarely into things that. Sorry, I'll turn down the game sounds. I'm rarely into things that don't have a reasoning or rationale for the gameplay loop. Like, I need something that I'm aiming at in order to... And even if that is, like, a self-imposed goal, I need the ability to create self-imposed goals to be very clear. So, like, with Civ 5, it's like, oh, I'm going to play a game where I take over the entire world as Venice. I do a domination victory on Venice. It's very, very straightforward, very simple to come up with that sort of thing. So that's more what I gravitate towards, I would say. The way you're talking kind of made me think you liked them in general, but didn't like Stardew's style of romance. Oh, I can see how you would have gotten that. No. No. I think I was accidentally just talking a little deceptively by mistake. That's my bad. When you use the core of the other array, this and adjacent burn items gain 2 burn. Nah, I don't need that. No, thank you. We're getting rid of that. I didn't romance her, and she did continue her existence. She didn't in Fish's Run. In Fish's Run, she melted into a pile of goop. And that was before they had patched in the way to save her from the goop. And I'm still upset about it. No matter how hard I tried, she non-existed. And it fucking sucked ass, and I'm still mad at Baldur's Gate 3 about it. Oh, not good. This is not going well. I don't know what's wrong with what we're doing, other than that it's not good enough, That's kind of the only conclusion I can come to. Obsidian Wallace is not charging fast enough. He's not charging fast enough. This is not good enough. Huh. What's up?
Should I start playing Assassin's Creed?
Probably. That's funny that you're like, I will protect you, and then oops, it's a romance, very anime coded. That is kind of, yes. That is generally the way that my brain functions. Yeah. That's pretty accurate, I would say. The way the two of you are talking about it sounds like there's a subplot in BG3 that's literally, haha, you so sexy, don't kill yourself. No, she's just dying. And then I was willing to do literally anything to make that not happen. And then I cared so much about that I ended up accidentally caring for her in the separate way. I think maybe the distraction is burn in general. I think I just need to be even more defensive. Just even more defensive. And I just need to forget about burn. I just need to remember what my win con is. My win con is Obsidian Wallace. And everything else that is not going towards activating Obsidian Wallace is a distraction. I think that's the overall goal. No ads, and I'm going to turn off ads for a second. I think that's my current problem. Turn that off. Here's a quirk of modern gamer English. We say, who did you romance instead of who did you form a relationship with? Because in games, there's inherently a subject and object of the verb to romance. Yeah. And I think I dislike games that pull away that curtain even more. Like, because you're completely right. That is like an interesting quirk. And it's a little gross if you think about it too hard. But it is like, it's just how games work. Like, there's no real way around it. If someone is romanceable in the first place, there just is a path to do that if you pick the right choices, But it is weird. It is quite weird. When you sell this, your weapons gain 4 damage. When you sell this, your shield items gain 6 damage. Or 8 shield. 6 shield. There we go. I played a later version by the time I got to Act 3 because I had the option to go with her or send someone else, and we weren't even dating. Yeah. Well, and the real fucked up part about it is I thought I was so smart. If you watch me do it, I am a Githyanki. I like barely even romanced Lae'zel, but she was like, "Hey, let's like go fight Vlaakith in the Astral Sea together." And I was like, "Yo, in the Astral Sea, people don't age. I wonder if that's the way to stop Karlach from dying. Like, we can go to the Astral Sea and her thing won't explode. Maybe. I don't know. Like, that seemed reasonable to me." And so I was like, okay, I'll go with you. And then as part of like the romance plot, you basically tell her like, yeah, even if you die, like I'll be there with you while you die. Don't worry. And then if you accept Lae'zel's offer to go to the Astral Sea and help her fight Vlaakith, you just ditch the rest of the party without saying a word. And Karlach dies in agony in front of you. And that's it. And you just watch it happen, and there's no interaction. It fucking sucked, dude. I was so pissy about it afterward. Oh my god, we're doing terribly. What happened? I think I have too much on the right side of the core. Okay, we're doing better. This is more of what we want to see from Obsidian Wallace. We want to see more triggers. We want to see more of that happening. So we're doing better. We're doing better. Core gains 5% crit chance for the fight. Maybe I just shouldn't care about the shielded cooling fan. I'm getting distracted. Again. I'm getting distracted. Yeah, glad they reworked that. I am too. I'll just continue to be salty about it forever, but it's fine. Okay. We get rid of all of these. All of that. Go away. We do, I think we put in Micro Dave, but only because he charges very quickly when we use all of these. He charges very quickly, and so we put him in for the purpose of charging. And all of it goes towards Obsidian Wallace. The shielded cooling fan does charge quickly is the thing, especially if the cooldown is reduced. It takes away a little bit of the shield, which I don't like. Hastes and slows. That does haste. These both haste. So we could put the red Firefly between them. I am at an impasse. I don't know. This, okay. This is just happening every 4 seconds. I think that's a problem. I don't think that's right. Poison or burns? Burns, no poisons. Haste or slows? Haste. Only haste. So we can either put this guy next to Micro Dave, or we can put this guy next to First Aiden. I think we're going to do that next to Micro Dave because it slows the enemy, giving us more time. Ugh. All right. No bronze items to upgrade. We could get a shield item. We could just increase max HP. I think increasing max HP is a little bit underrated. We're going to study. We're going to get another level. Easy peasy. Okay. Slow skills, crit skills, gold skills, gold skills. Give me a gold skill. Give me something good. 12% crit chance. I don't hate that. Exactly 1 weapon. I don't. Its cooldown is reduced by 10% while your enemy has a slowed item. Too complicated. First time you use a large item. Don't have any. Keen Eye. Or we re-roll, but I think Keen Eye is just worth it. 12% crit chance is decent. That's giving these guys a decent amount of crit chance. Burninator Bot, Bouncetron, Joyful Jack. Bouncetron. We're going to see. I'm not feeling great about the build, but if it can beat a medium opponent, we might have a chance. I'm still salty that Gale did the spoiler ending for his arc despite me rolling a 30 to dissuade him. Jesus. That's crazy. Oh, come on. This is not good. God, I just need something. I need, like, something to haste Obsidian Wallace is the problem. I need something that can haste to the left. The Power Sander only hastes to the right. Because otherwise, I'm relying entirely on the core. Is my problem that Obsidian Wallace is my win con? No. Obsidian Wallace is the bestest boy. Don't throw that on him. Let's look for a medium item. Let's look for an item that could help us. Race Carl. When you haste, charge this for 2. Ooh. I have a haste there. I have a haste there. I have a GPU in my inventory that does haste. Now that is interesting. Race Carl. When you burn, no. When you haste, this gains 20 damage. When this gains haste, charge this 2 seconds. That feels like giving up on Obsidian Wallace, which I will never do. Race Carl. Race Carl. No burn. Race Carl. Okay, no more spider then. When adjacent item haste or slows. When either player has burn. Okay, get rid of that. Put the GPU back in. The red Firefly, and I guess. Not because I want to, but because I need to. Let's see. What else? Whoa. Haste adjacent items. For 3 seconds. That's what we need. But I don't have nearly enough money for it. How much is it? 32? Oh, no. How much do I have in my inventory? What is that? 12, 14, 15? 15, that's 24. No, 22. I would need 10 more off the board. I'd need to sell Obsidian Wallace, which is not happening. Damn it. That's the thing I need. I put that between the core and Obsidian Wallace. We're fucking rocking. We're rocking and rolling with that in Race Carl. Oh, how much would I need to sell? Okay, wait. Let's do the exact math. Okay. So that's 12. That's 14. That's 15. Plus 7, 22. How much would I need to sell to get to 10 and retain these 3? 10. Could I get that by selling everything? I could get that by selling these 3. And then I've got 2 empty slots. That is a huge gamble. But I feel as though it is worth it. I think it's worth it. I think that is like the thing that I need. It's a huge gamble, but what do I got to lose at this point? What do I have to lose? I'm crazy. I got nothing to lose. Oh, I miscounted. I also have to sell First Aid. Oh, First Aid's a tough sell, but that's fine. Okay. And then I got to do like an event that gets me a medium item or something. Come on, event. Oh, the game. The game is fucking with me, dude. Okay, so we definitely lose this. We absolutely lose this, but that's okay. That's A-okay. This other player is going to be like, what is going on with them? They don't need to have this few of things. What's going on? Yeah. This is, I can see the line here if we just have 2 other things that support it. But man, I was too neutral in a convo 30 hours ago. Buddy, I don't have this much trouble with the star in Shadow. Lol. All right, this is it. I think we enchant Race Carl. This is the, hey, you almost died. You get 1 more chance. Because I should have lost there. I should have lost enough prestige to lose. But I didn't. Because the game gives you 1 more chance. It allows you to enchant something. Or do one of 2 other things. But the other 2 things aren't nearly as good. And he got enchanted with haste. That's freaking amazing. What did I get? Multicast if adjacent to friend. Multicast if adjacent to tool. I don't love that, but, you know, is what it is. That's fine. When you use an adjacent tech item, charge this. That's tech. The GPU is tech. I totally missed that. Oh. The GPU is tech. But I need it to be hasting Obsidian Wallace. I can't get too distracted. I can feel myself getting distracted. Can't do that. Get a small weapon. We just want to fill up the board. When you slow, charge this 2 seconds. I don't think I have anything that slows, but I just need something on the board. He's also a tool. He's a tool, so soldering gun gets multicast. That's great. Okay. We're going to risk Enclave Revenant. It's a really hard fight, but it'll tell us if we're at least maybe on the right track. This is a really hard fight, especially for what we got going on, because we have no way to resist poison. But I think this is the path. We're going pretty fast. We're going faster than we were. Oh, but so are they. They've got too much poison and too much regen. There's a decent chance this run is just cooked. And was it because of my loyalty to Obsidian Wallace? Probably. I probably should have given up on him long ago or made different decisions in the past. But I won't apologize. I will not apologize for loyalty. Now we do get to enchant an item, which is crazy. That is like a Hail Mary level crazy that it's giving to us. What did it give? What did it give? Slow 2 items, which triggers Hamlet. Holy shit. I think this is not what we want. We don't have anything that freezes. There's a chance, especially if I take the temporary boost. Weapons deal more damage. We have no healing items. More health. Weapons deal more damage. We just got to go fast. That's it. This is probably cooked. This is probably the end. I'm still learning dually, and I get attached to the friends, especially if they're enchanted and I like them. Especially if they're enchanted and I like their enchantment. I got too caught up in the burn, I think is the problem. I got to stay focused when I'm on dually in a way that you don't really have to with a lot of the other, with Vanessa. You can kind of let your mind wander with Vanessa, and it doesn't really impact you too much. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can just, you can let your mind wander with Vanessa, and a lot of times, you know, I won't say it'll reward you for it, but it won't punish you too much. But this just, I got way too into the burn. I'm getting the flame juggler. I'm getting these. Like, what the fuck am I doing? None of that has to do with Obsidian Wallace. None of it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. That is it for the Bazaar. That's it for me. I hope that you guys had a good time hanging out with me, chatting, talking. I'm enjoying these. You know, I don't want to talk too positively on it until I've done it a couple of times. I'm much more confident that I will continue doing them. But I'm getting more and more confident. I'm liking doing the separate streams. You know, it gives me time to talk about things like the Daggerheart predictions. You know, it's like that. The Daggerheart predictions is probably something I would have talked about during a Critical Role stream because it's close enough. But it's not really, you know, Vox Machina related. So being able to talk about those sorts of things in this sort of stream, I think it's going to be nice. So anyways, thank you all for joining. I've been Mega, and I'll see you on probably not tomorrow, if I had to guess. If I had to guess, not tomorrow, but definitely Sunday. See you on Sunday. Goodbye.